Hello guys, Paula back here to start a new journal. I have already made the journal. I decided to do this because I had another journal where the fabric or the vinyl or whatever, it was an upholstery fabric. When I turned it to fold the edges down, it cracked. I'm going to show you. Hold on. It turned out beautiful. It was really pretty, and I got this in a vintage shop, and I realized later when I was at Hobby Lobby that they sell it in black. But I got this kind of in a brownish maroon. But the deal is, I was really disappointed because I thought it would go really well with the Reminisce kit from Love Junk Journals, Tracie Fox's Etsy store. And I thought it would go great with it. And I'm going to show you. Everything looks perfectly fine, right? Let me turn it up. I'm going to keep this journal for myself. I'm just going to put it together and keep it. But what happened is, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but right here, it split. I fixed it with Fabri-Tac, and right here, it split. I think now that it's dry, it will be fine. Oh, and right here. I don't know if you can see it there. There's like 3 places on this side. Like, see right here. So, and I had put in this really cool check, and this was going to be in the same color scheme. I will finish this at some point for myself because I just love the way it looks. The corners, it was so thick that the corners didn't do all that well either. And it took more glue than normal to hold it down. And I'm sure the acetate, I don't know if it has acetate or if it's acetate free. I need to investigate that. Anyway, I think it's acetate free. But no, it does have acetone in it. I thought so. Okay. Anyway, this was the book I intended to use. And I mean, look how I lined that up. I was so happy with the way it was looking. And it didn't crack anywhere except when I folded this part over. And I mean, when I folded this part over into here, I mean, it was so weird. But anyway, that was the book I intended to use. So I decided to go a different direction. So, because I'd planned on using that with the Reminisce kit, but I guess I'm going to, I think of reminiscing, and I think of the olden days. I think of a quilt. So, I've never quilted, never ever. And this is not perfect, but when my mom quilted, it was never perfect. But I want to show you that I actually did quilt it, and it's got a muslin inside. And then I just trimmed it in this green because I threw a green square in every now and then. And then I used, this is very old vintage eyelet lace. And it's a cream color. And this is, you know, there's cream in the background. So, if you hear Sadie, she's mad because she wouldn't cooperate and let me get some work done today. So, I had to put her in her crate for a few minutes. Long enough to get a video done. Anyway, so please don't let her bother you. She just spoiled rotten. Okay, so this is going to be a one signature, but it's going to have a lot in it because this kit has a lot in it. So I'm going to show you the kit. I haven't inked it yet, but it is going to be a perfect fit for this. And so I spent the last day and a half probably the last 24 hours working on this. Maybe not that long. It really wasn't that long. It was, you know, the more I make of these, the simpler they get. And I love them. I love, love, love the way they feel. And anyway, so I'm going to show you the kit real quick, or some of it. We'll look at some of the embellishments as we make things with it. But now, mind you, the ink is a little darker than what I usually use, but I have ink this color. So we have in the one of the pages, you can see there's yellow. I tried to match up all the flowers to the book when I picked out my fabric. And there is a few butterflies in here. And at some point, I may bring in some butterflies. But right today, I'm not. But you can see there's pink, fuchsia. And so, just all different. Tracie has all different colors. Here's another pink. Here is a pale pink. This and yellow. This is, so pretty much it's pink and yellow and kind of a fuchsia color. And then it has some really old vintage, like this is a family tree. And I don't know, you never know, this may end up being a book that I may have to print off and make myself a book. Okay, so it does have corner pockets that go in the book. And it does have just regular pockets. And it has vintage photographs. And this kit, if you are doing a family Reminisce type album, or not album, but journal, man, I can write a lot about my family. There's a lot, you know. It has tabs. It has little flag type tags. It has this cool shape. I don't know what this is called. And it has envelopes. Some beautiful envelopes, actually. And I even printed up small. Very small. And it has belly bands. Tracie thought of everything when she did this, and that doesn't shock me from her. She's very talented. If you have not seen her channel, you need to run over there and check it out. It's Tracie Fox. And her Etsy store, Love Junk Journals. Okay. It's actually Tracie Fox Love Junk Journals, I believe. I'll link her below whenever the video is over. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure we're in camera. My camera keeps wanting to tilt to one side. And my lamp right here that I use a lot keeps interfering. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you, I'm going to incorporate some paper every once in a while too. And so this is one-sided paper. It might be very hard for you to see because the lights are bright, but I'll tilt it. This has like a floral with swirls. I picked out 2 papers to use, and here's another one with doilies, which, what doesn't say vintage, but doilies. Or when I say vintage, I mean like reminiscing old days. Okay, so we'll cut these to fit if we have time, because really that's all we're going to do with those right now. I'll probably end up using a cream color lace. But, okay, I'm going to set this paper, the pages. These are all the pages. Let me see how many you get. It's easier to do it like this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's 12. Okay. So today what I want to do is I want to make one thing that I know for sure we want to use in the book. And I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm going to tell you right up front, I've not done it. And I'm sure someone out there has done it. So it's going to be trial and error. So I've done some coffee stain paper up here. And I didn't cut the width, the exact width yet, because I want to make sure that's what we need. 2 strips of muslin. 2 tea stained envelopes. And we'll use some of the ephemera on here. What I want to do is after we get the album, after we get the 2 envelopes attached to each other, I was thinking about embossing these 2 flaps, but I think instead I may cover them with one of those papers. Maybe the doily one or something. But these have been tea stained. We will ink it after we adhere it. So the first thing I want to do is put our favorite, all-time favorite. I'm going to put a little bit more ink on here. This is tea stained, but I like it a little darker. I don't know if it's tea stained or coffee stained because I do both. But I hope I have enough ink in this ink pad. It doesn't act like it's, of course it's been sitting there, so who knows. But I'm going to do this first. I hope you guys are having a good day. Doing a lot of crafting. I hope you'll craft along with me. Okay, and then we'll do that. We'll do the other after. Okay, so we've got this all inked up. I'm trying to decide which side. Now I want to attach the envelopes. It's important that you line them up. I do realize that we want to line them up. I'm going to line them up along this line on my grid. And just leave a teensy little I think I'm going to put ink, I think I'm going to put the glue on the envelope rather than on the muslin. I just think it'd be a lot easier to do that. We'll see. We'll find out once we do it. Okay, so I'm going to line it up. Hold your muslin with your fingers here and center it down the middle. Much as you want here, but I am going to leave a tiny little space. I don't know if you're supposed to, but I feel like if we're going to fold it over itself, we need to. Oh, we're sticking here. Let me get a wipey. Of course, I forgot that the glue will go through that muslin. And this poor mat, it has seen better days. Okay, now we're going to line it back up. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to butt them up together, like bottoms, the bottoms of these 2 envelopes, we're going to butt them up together. So, and we'll use the envelopes themselves as pockets to put little goodies in. Okay, now I'm going to line this one up on the line here, but I am going to leave a tiny little, teeny tiny little space, although that's bigger than I really want. Let me get closer. There we go. Now I'm going to line it up with my grid here. Yeah, good, that worked. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing on the inside because I just think that it'd be more secure if we do. So, put a little bit of glue down each side. I'm not going to go crazy with the glue because I think the back will pretty much keep it together, but I just didn't want it to feel, how do I say it? Floppy, you know, not secure whenever, whichever person has this in their journal collection. We want it to look. I didn't cut this one as long because I really just wanted this one. I thought I had cut them pretty close, but it looks like it's quite a bit shorter. Let me lift it up and let's do this again. We're gonna do it again, guys. Let me see if I have any more over here. Nope, that's not one. That one. This one's a little bit longer. Not much. Oh, and it's not cut straight, so it doesn't really matter. I wasn't going for perfection. After all, I'll say what I always say. It is a junk journal, and perfection is not my goal. So basically, I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. There, that looks better. Now you can see. Oh, I want to put some, sorry guys. I think I'm going to need to put some glue down the very middle too, because it's like when you bind a book, you have to have, you know, that crease filled up as well. And that crease has to be, you know, you put your finger down in the crease so that your book will flip back and forth. And I'm actually going to get I have a little tool that I use to do that. I know you guys have seen me use it before. You guys, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a gift, and I believe right now I'm leaning toward a journal, but don't hold me to that because I haven't really decided 100%. I may even give out some different types of embellishments, or I might put a package together, or I might do a traveler's notebook. We'll just see. We'll just see. I'm trying to get this to adhere better. And you know what that's like. So yesterday I had opened up a new jar of glue whenever I started that book that I showed you, and it was great until I got the book finished, and now that I'm doing embellishments, you know, it's crazy. It's stickier. Okay, so there we go. Whoops, sorry. I want to make sure all of it's like a little mini book that they can put in. My goal is to attach it here, so I might have to get some binding string to do that. I didn't actually, I wanted the paper to be much smaller, you know, like this. I cut it to 4 inches because I wanted to fold this flap over, go like this, and then go like that, and then just tie some muslin around it or something. Or I did think also about these two being pockets, and then the paper be here in the middle, and then we can just do it like this and put a pocket or something here on the front. I think that might be what we're going to do. But I don't want to cut the paper so short that there's no writing room. See, it's already short, and I did that on purpose because I didn't want it to be as much about the book. I can either put it at the top and put some decorative strip down here, or do it here and put a decorative strip on each side. I don't know yet. I may cover, I don't know. We'll see. we'll just play with it and see what happens. So the next thing we need to do is, I think we should go ahead and ink it so that we don't forget, for one thing, but I think it will make a difference with these embellishments. And then we'll cut the tabs. Not tabs, but the envelope. Not fabric. Hello. Good morning. We had our grandchildren last night, and so they had to be at school at 7:30, and we live way on the other side of town, so it takes a good 30-40 minutes to get where their school is. And so my husband was the one that dropped them off, but we had to get them up super early. Like, it was like, I think it was like 6:15, and that gave us 45 minutes to dress and eat and brush teeth and, you know, everything. And they wake up so much better than we do. They're in way better mood than you are, you know, in the mornings early. And everything that sounds one volume ends up being triple that, you know. So, no, they were precious. They behaved really well. So, okay, whoops, we didn't do this side. Now, one thing you need to know about tea-stained envelopes, which you probably already know if you do make this sort of thing, they weaken quite a bit whenever you stain them. And when I mean weaken, I'm talking about, like, see here how this is separated? I always re-glue that to make it stronger after I've inked and everything, because I want to be able to use the pocket, you know. And it's kind of hard to do that if the envelope's falling apart. So I decided one day I would decoupage some envelopes, and I still plan to do it in a video. I just haven't done it yet. And I had never done it before. And I grab tea-stained envelopes instead of actual new ones, which I'll tell you, if you're going to decoupage the whole envelope like I had planned, you definitely want to, I'm going to kind of antique this here, make it darker inside. You definitely want to use a new envelope. No doubt about it. I was going to attach several of them together and make it like a double fold or triple fold or something like that. But the envelope, the seams started coming apart. I was like, oh, great. Okay, so I'm going to grab a piece of this doily paper here, and I'm going to cut it like, I'm actually going to move my ink pad so we can get in there. And okay, I'm going to line it up right along here, and I'm going to grab a pencil so that it's not super dark and easy. It'll be, I'm just going to lightly, let me make sure that's straight. I'm going to lightly trace around this one. Okay, so that I can cut it out. Okay, now I'm going to flip it and do the other one the same way. Let me make sure I'm in camera. Okay, and then after we do this, we will cut them out. I got me some new Tim Holtz scissors. The only thing is, these have black handles. They don't feel as loose as my red ones, but I still love them. I had them on. I was just holding them backwards. Now, after we cut this out, we will ink it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I did not realize, because I so lightly traced out, that the other one overlapped. That's because I'm blind, guys, so we'll have to trace it again. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. It won't be the first mistake I've ever made when it comes to tracing or anything else for that matter. Let me make sure we don't have any pencil on here, because I did do it very light. And let me see if this one fits, because if it fits on both of them, I'll just trace another one just like it. I just always trace them separately, because you never know how consistent anything is. And it still isn't perfect. Now I'll go ahead and cut them out separately, because this one side is... But I'm going to flip my paper so that we don't have to do that again. Okay. Line it up. Trace around with your pencil. Cut it out as best you can. Now I've got this on an edge, on the straight edge, so I can get it as straight as possible. Then I don't have to worry about it not being straight. Another thing that's really cool, I keep picking my scissors up backwards because they're new. I'm not accustomed to them. Another thing that's really cool to do with envelopes is go ahead and do like we're doing and trace here, but then cut straight down, and you can make it go down inside the envelope, and it's really pretty. We should have done that. I didn't think about it, to be quite honest. And what I'm talking about is, like, we should have lined this side and then ran paper down in here. Now we could still do that, but these are for the outside. That was my purpose, is to do these so that when you open the book, well, wait a minute, let's see what it's going to look like. We may change that up since we don't really have a plan. So when you open the book, this is how it would look. But wait a minute. So we're going to put the paper here, and I'm going to make a little cover for the paper like it's its own little book. So if we put the paper here, when you open it, this is how it should look. But if we put it on the outside, we won't see these. So let's see what they look like on the inside. I don't know, guys. Because this is what the people will ultimately, they'll flip out the envelope tops. But see, that's so blasé. We're going to put them on top. We'll put them on the top. It's not brain surgery, as I usually say. We'll just do it. Well, good grief, guys. How many times have I told you I'm clumsy? Well, this is another day. This is a clumsy day, I'm guessing. I told my daughter the other day, your mother is gotten to where she can't hang on to anything. But I still have my craftiness. No one's going to take that away from me. I still have my craftiness. I forgot to erase that right there. Got a big old pencil line. We don't want to put that down with a pencil line. Okay. Yeah, I still have my craftiness. They're never going to take that away from me. I will fight for my craftiness. It might kill me, or I might be extremely slow as an old person trying to craft, but I will definitely craft until I can't pick up a pencil. I don't know if you guys feel that way or not, but I sure do. You know, we could cut another one of these for the inside flap. All right. Let's do the other outside one. And then we'll go back and ink them real quick. Don't let me forget to ink, guys. Okay. I just managed to get a little bit right there. So I love covering the tops of envelopes. I just think it makes the envelope look so much better. If we do the inside, we could actually do what I was talking about earlier. We could, I'm just flipping it over and trimming it because I don't want anything sticking out. That takes away from it looking like it came that way. So if we do the other side, we could cut down, we could cut it down. Look at that. How cute is that, guys? Okay, let's ink it here. We can either put one inside just like this, or we can slip it down inside. What do you guys think? It's going to be too late to tell me, but what would you do? What would you have done if it was your project? I think I'm going to see if we can... Boy, the ink sure makes a difference. It really makes it pop, doesn't it? Okay. Now, I'm going to see about sliding some paper down in here. Now, we need to make sure we have it measured correctly because that will be key to doing this. So I'm going to bring this cutter over here. Now, you won't see the whole cutter in the picture. I'm sorry, guys, but for some reason, my camera will not zoom out. But I'll show it to you. I'll try to cut up here. Let's see if we can do that. Well, I know what I can do. I'll just turn it around. How's that? Hello. Could have done that before. Okay, so we're going to measure and see exactly what we're dealing with as far as the width goes. So it's just easier to pull this out and measure. Okay, it is 5 3/4. So we need to make sure our paper is 5 3/4, and then we'll measure the height from here to here, which is 7 3. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. 6 3/4. That way we can get our flaps on the envelopes and everything to be the same. So I'm going to cut 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. So let's cut this 6 3/4 first. I'm used to trimming my stuff from the other side, so wish me luck here. Okay, 6 3/4 is, okay, we can't do it that way because that paper has already been cut on. 6 3/4. And we need 2 of these. I may have to get another sheet of paper. Okay. Okay. 6 3/4. And now we need to do 4 3/4. no, I'm sorry, 5 3/4. And honestly, I don't think, let's see, I don't think it has to be that deep. We probably could have got away with, let's see if this is going to be too wide. It looks like it is. You know, because when you start stuff, it just, oh, looky there, you guys. Now, what I'm going to do is slide this paper down in there all the way since we have enough. But we didn't have to cut that much. And then I'm going to flip it over and trace, because it is like a perfect fit. So then I'm going to trace our flap. And we'll cut it out as soon as we cut the other piece. Okay, so it doesn't have to go all the way down in the book. So I'm going to use this piece. Let's see. There's the 6 3/4. So what we're going to do here is the 5 3/4. Now we're going to have this one little corner that will not be the right size, but that's all right. Okay, see this little bit right there? All right, we'll just slide it down inside the envelope, and let's see if we got lucky enough that this is a perfect fit too. Well, what do you know? That doesn't happen twice in a day normally. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I don't always get the perfect measurements. You'll get it one time, and then the next time you're like, what? Trying to get it down in here before I draw. It acts like it needs just a little sliver off. I just think it would work better if we do that. If I can line it up to get just a little sliver. It keeps wanting to take more than I want to give. Okay. I'm going to move this. There we go. All right. Now let's try this again. Slide this down in here. That's better. There we go. Okay, up. Can't go that far because we got the tab right there, so we'll bring it up a little bit. And that's perfectly fine. Really, you save paper if you don't put it all the way down. It just is lots easier to measure. If it's paper you just want to get rid of, you know. Okay, so now we need to cut these out, just like we did the others. And leave the sides alone because those are going to slide down into the book. Now, I am not going to worry about gluing a lot down in the book because I don't want it to glue the envelope closed and all that, you know. So, if I can get this one little edge to go down. All right, let's try this and see if we have it right. And you don't have to mess with inking down inside either. Come on. Now see, you have to remember on this one you're not going to go all the way down. So you have to pull it up and make sure everything's cut right. For some reason this one's not perfect, but that's all right. It's close enough. All right, see this side right here? Listen, I'll make it perfect. I'll just trim that little sucker off. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue on here, and we'll do them one at a time. And I'm just going to come down a little bit on the sides, but not enough that it will come out inside the book, you know, or inside the envelope. I just want it to barely have a little bit right down here. I don't want any seepages inside the envelope so it doesn't close it off. And remember, you can't go all the way down with this particular one. So we're going to hold it up and hope that we don't make a total mess of our project. There we go. Now you want to slow down And see, I stopped, which was not smart. And it was mostly because I couldn't get it to cooperate. Now, but if that happens to you and you can't get it to let go, you can always, I want to make sure I'm not going too low. You can always just trim around it again if it's up too high. There we go. I might have to trim it a little bit. Okay, just got a massive piece of glue when I did that on my finger. Let me get that off. Okay, now let's trim. Yep, that whole side's covered really nicely. So I'm going to trim this, and then we're going to ink it. If I can ever get my scissors where they're supposed to go. What I like about these Tim Holtz scissors is that they will cut long strides, and I like that. I used to just use little tiny scissors like Fiskars or something, but I stopped doing that because you couldn't do long cuts. Okay, so let's flip over here on the inside, and we're going to ink. And I'm inking pretty generous because there's a lot of inking on the kit. This is going to be my design team for project for October. Okay, let's do the other one real quick. I know I've already, oh, it's in there. Hello, it's right here. Another way you can do this is trim it out, trim, this part off with it in the envelope when there's no glue, okay? And we're gonna try this and see what happens. And then just when you put your glue on, all you have to do is glue straight on your flap and then a little bit down inside. And then you won't have to wrestle with the glue like I just did. Which, is not a big deal. It's not, I'm not perfect, that's for sure, when I craft, but I do like things to cooperate. And so we're going to just put a little bit of glue below the flap, but not to the sides. And then put glue on the flap for our decorative flap. Flap, flap, flap. Basically what I'm saying here, girls and guys. Okay, here we go. Now, see, that was much easier than the last time when I was wrestling it like a snake or something. Okay, or maybe even like an alligator. I don't know. My grandkids would have said to me just now, Grammy, you're just crazy. They will do that. As they've gotten older, they're like, Grammy, seriously. Because I'll still do say corny things to them. And especially my 14 and 15-year-old grandson. They'll go, Grammy, really? I'll be like, yeah, that's real. I'm talking for real. So now I think if I really tell them something serious and important, they'll be like, Grammy, are you just teasing us? I'll be like, oh great, now they don't believe anything I say. Okay, so I am going to use my fine tip point. It has Scotch liquid glue inside, but I just use this because it doesn't come out in massive amounts like the Fabri-Tac. And I'm going to glue this little area I told you about earlier so that we don't have it fussing with us later. See, it will completely come apart on people if we don't have it. Just make sure you don't have any inside, and you have to hold it for a second because it doesn't adhere as fast as some glues. Okay, now let's do the other side. I'm sure, I don't know if everybody glues this down or not, but little things like this bugs me. I don't like it the thought of me sending a book off to somebody and something. I mean, I'd rather use more glue than not enough glue. And that's just how I look at it. Okay, so we're going to get a needle. And first we're going to mark where we want our little book and how. Oh, I was going to cut some of this paper to put on it as a cover. And let me erase something off of here, because otherwise I will have to just waste another whole sheet of paper, and I don't want to do that. Not for an embellishment. Okay, so we're just gonna, I'm just worried about covering the front part. And honestly, I'm not gonna have it that long. Let me think for a second. Maybe we'll use, what did I do with my paper? Let's use the other print for the paper. We'll have a little bit of design there. Okay, see, this is going to be right in the middle. Now I need to score. I got to score mine. Let's fold these over real quick while they're still wet. Just realized I'm just using my finger now to score that, and then we'll need to score it pretty good here on the outside, because, you know, if you don't, it will. I didn't get my score tool out because I didn't plan on, that wasn't my plan when I sat down today. Okay, so I kind of got burnt out on Christmas books for a while, and I thought, well, I'll just do my design team project toward the end of September and have it ready by October, which is just 3 days away. So 3 or 4, let me see. Today's the 28th. So this month has got 30 days. So yeah, I'm close enough. Okay, now let's see if we want to shorten this. I think I want to shorten it a little bit. And the reason why is I don't want it sticking out way over there. Let's make it a 3-inch. Oh, that's too small. Let's make 3 1/4. That's what we'll do. 3 1/4. I think that will look better, and we'll be able to see, it just looks more book shaped. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cover on it, but then I'm going to, I mean, it's not a ton of pages. It's 6. And after we get the cover on, it's going to be, or it's 6 counting both sides. See, that just looks better, doesn't it? Okay, let me cut this out. It's 3 1/4. Okay, 3 1/4. Get it lined up here. Let me make sure it's not the part of the paper that has, see, Hobby Lobby always puts that. I don't want that on there. Okay. Okay. Now, let's bring our paper over here and see what the length of it is. Now, I know some of it's shorter than others parts, but we're just going to measure the outside, which is 6 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 6 1/2. And now we can get rid of this thing. Okay, now I'm going to quickly ink this because I don't want to try to ink it once we attach it to the book, to the, I keep calling it a book. It's kind of like a little book, isn't it? To the envelopes. Yeah, and I'm going to do the inside too because I think it'll look nicer. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys a question. What are you working on at this time? And leave it to me in the comment box. And I'll just probably just leave you a heart after I read it, but I'm just curious, and I want to get to know you guys. And you know, I don't, you know, most people, the majority of the people don't comment, which is not uncommon. People don't always comment, but most people just watch it and don't have time to mess with commenting. And I can remember times that it was like that for me when I worked. And but those of you that can, that would be awesome. Okay, I don't think I'm going to ink all that because I don't think it really needs it. Uh-oh. What did I do? I had that turned around. You guys, honestly, I told you, my memory some days. Okay, we're going to remeasure the height of this because, okay, 4, you guys. I was cutting it to fit the width rather than the height. Oh my goodness. I make myself crack up. Okay, we're gonna make sure it fits before we ink it this time. Okay, I think it will. And I'm just gonna make it slightly bigger on that side. Okay. And then just trim it straight off. And then there's no doubt that it fits, right? Let's try inking. I hate this because when I make goofs like that, I slow down the time. That's why I try to do things, you know, a lot of times I try to prep everything, but I just kind of like being spontaneous. I don't know about you guys, but it takes me twice as long if I do that. And I've been watching a lot of other videos, noticing that not everybody does like a prototype. And I did in the beginning because I was unsure of what I was doing, you know, and I was a newbie. But now I feel like I don't mind having mistakes with you guys. Doesn't bother me one little bit. Okay. Now we have a little book. So what I thought is we'd just put some string in here, and let me grab my needle. And I think I'll grab my binding thread and just make it real easy. We'll just do it. Keep all my awl and everything inside this little box. So you always, you know, if you were doing a big book, you'd want to like shake it down, push your fingers in there and make sure everything's up in there. Now, normally you'd have a template, but instead I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm just going to do one little area here, about the same height from the bottom as from the top. Okay. And this is simple. I'm not even gonna worry if it's not perfect, because it's just a little, if I can get it to go through this little tiny thing. There we go. I don't want to make it too big, but my awl is pretty good size, you know, because normally when you do a book, it takes a little bit bigger hoe. Okay, now we'll just grab a little bit of this thread here. I just tossed all my little scraps. See, I should have, you do 3 times the length of the book, but I don't think we're going to need that much, but okay. And we got to get our needle. If I can get it open, with my tiny motor skills here. Oh my goodness. I think these little bags are harder to get open than some bigger bags when it comes to now threading this needle. It's got the biggest eye in the world, and still sometimes this waxed coated thread, well, what do you know? Sometimes it still gives me a hard time. So, all right, so let's go in here. I've never done it with just 2 holes, but I can't imagine that it's much different than, you know what, let's do it from the outside and see how it turns out. We'll go in from the outside, and then we can just leave the strings or the knot or whatever on the outside. I didn't make the hole super big, and this needle is definitely super big. I didn't want to have to dig for other needles. It's called laziness. It's not really lazy, it's just I don't want you guys having to hang around and wait on me to find things. Okay, so we're not going to do anything but tie this. We're not going to, you know, do anything fancy, and I just thought we'd put it on the outside so we could kind of tie it off and cut it off, and then it will be toward the back. We won't have to see it. And I'm just going to tie a knot here. But you want to make sure before you tie the knot that everything is tight, because it is not a normal. Okay, now I'm going to hold that down. Keeps wanting to loosen on me. Okay. And everything that is small like this is fiddly for my fingers. I'm telling you. Now, it's not going to be super tight, but that doesn't matter. It's fine. It's just an embellishment. I'm going to cut it pretty short, though, because I don't want to have it being bulky on the back when we glue it down. Okay. There you go. What do you think? Slowest project in the world. How many minutes are we? Oh my goodness, we have to hurry, guys. We are at adding the second little part of the, you know what? We should have done that there. Oh my goodness, let me think. But if we bind it there, it will show on the outside, and I don't want it to. You can tell I've never done this, right? And I don't want to glue it, but we could glue down just the back cover when we still have a pocket. What do you think about that? And I actually like the way the pocket would look better. And they can journal here and here. That's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to line it up straight. Move it up a little bit. And I'm doing this mostly because we're out of time. Really, an hour is, I don't like to go past an hour. And we'll have to glue our decorative one down, I'm thinking. This is why you make a protocol. Because this can happen if you don't. Or I can just go ahead and bind it down. Let's just bind it down. We're just going to bind it down because we spent all that time doing the decorative paper that if we don't bind it down, it will have been a big waste of time. Okay? And I don't want to waste you guys' time. Okay, let me cut some. And we're just going to cut this off and pull it out. But now we have to put the holes right through the muslin, okay? And we'll just make sure we're straight. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do like this. Okay. And like this. Now this isn't how you would do a real book. I'm just doing it this simple way because, you know, it's not a real book. Okay, we're going to go in from the outside. Let me get in there. I'm sorry, guys. So we went in from the back because we can make this look like a little dangle on the outside. We can add a charm or something to it, and we might do that. If for some reason the video goes off, guys, I'll show you the finished product. I don't know if it will let me go much past an hour. I'll end up showing you what it looked like in the next video. Come on. Come on, come on. All right. Now you want to pull this tight. I'm going to get the string all the way through. Take your needle off, and boy, I used way too much thread. That's called trying to hurry. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to pull it up to the top. Let me make sure that will be where I want the top. Yeah. Right up here to the top. And we want to try to get it as tight as we can so that we can end up putting some beads or a charm or something up there. Okay. Normally, I probably would hook the charm in now while I'm doing this portion, but because it's so hard to keep it tight. There we go. Way better. We need some applause. I'm just kidding. It's a miracle is what it is. Okay, now I will let these dangle. How's that? I'll cut them longer so I can add some charms, but we'll do that. And the next portion is going to simply be a pocket. And you know what? The one we cut incorrectly will make a perfect pocket. So I'm just going to trim it right off and try to make sure it's straight, because I'm not real good at freehanding with scissors. I don't know about you guys, but man alive, sometimes you find yourself cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. Okay, now the tag for this, you don't want to be super big. Trying to get all my stuff folded in so I can put it down between the muslin and the end of the envelope there. There you go. Of course, there's a little bit glue coming out. Okay. All right, so I am going to do a small tag, and I will put one of these on here. Let me find the other one. Everything's kind of mixed up because I just kind of showed it to you and plopped it to the side. I know there's other little... I like the floral best, I think. You know, I really want to put some lace across here. Or some instead of the lace, I think I'm going to do the eyelet, because the eyelet is what's on the album cover. Or, what? Listen to me. The journal cover, girls. So sorry. It's because I'm trying to hurry here. We'll put that, and see, I like the ruffly look. I don't know about you guys, but I wore eyelets when I was young. Now you just see people buy it for, mostly for crafting, I'm sure, if they sell it. I've seen it in the stores, but this I got at an estate sale. And so I felt very, very grateful to have gotten it, because it's not something you find every day, at least when it's old. Okay, now I'm going to try to straighten it out. You know how it kind of wants to curve. All right. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Okay. That's kind of hard to get it straight off the side there. Okay. These new scissors are not as flexible as my red ones, so it's like they feel stiff compared to the red ones. Okay, there we go. All right, and then we're going to ink this, and we're going to adhere it on the paper. Ooh, that looks pretty. Okay. We're not going to have time to decorate the tag, but I will tell you that it will basically have, it'll be very simple. When I do pocket tags like this, I try not to do them too elaborate, because it takes away from this pocket. You know, if you wanted to, I don't think I left my strings long enough, but you could even let your strings be a tie for your book. And you could use a ribbon or muslin to do your binding. And yeah, that would, let's just say we're going to use something like this. Fold it over. Let me find one with yellow. There's one with yellow. Now, obviously, this is not meant for the top of a tag, but I'm just going to see what it looks like. But then I'm thinking here in my brain, do I want to put it on this little book? I think I do. So I'm going to put it on the front of this little book, right up there. Okay? And that's all we can do for today, guys. I'll show you the finished product on the next video. If you haven't subscribed, I would love if you could join us. And for any new subbies, thank you for subscribing. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it so much. Tell me what you're working on down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.